Thank you. Yes, we have come almost to the end of our itinerary, and so this will be the last stop, really. And so I picked another pope, as I said. I picked Pope Alexander VII, who incidentally finished the outside square of the basilica that we began with. So it's also a very good closing point, because he is the one that ultimately received us into the church with his beautiful colonnades designed by Bernini. Now, this monument is largely based on Bernini's design. We're talking about Gian Lorenzo Bernini, naturally the Baroque architect, the most important Baroque architect, the person really that defined the Baroque, who died in 1680, and so we have a funeral monument to his friend, we should say, Alexander VII. Now, Alexander VII commissioned Bernini with it. It was ultimately executed by another artist, Arrigo of San Marinto, but nonetheless, it is Bernini behind it, and so it's a beautiful memento mori. And I talked a little bit about death in the beginning, right? So dying to the world in baptism, and then also dying and realizing that the real life is just about to begin in the moment of death. And that is a great starting point when we look at this monument. Now, what the monument consists of is the Pope, obviously, Alexander VII, who reigned between 1655 and 1667, to give you a kind of a moment here in time, and who is in his own moment of death. This monument is different from all other papal monuments, papal monumental tombs in the Basilica, because it shows the Pope neither dead, so sleeping, nor blessing, nor Gregory the 13th was in this kind of grand motion. He was still blessing, but it's this kind of magnificent motion. But it shows the Pope praying. It shows the Pope praying. And so this is very important, because he is in the moment of death. And we can see that if we read the art, we can see that by looking at where he is located. He is located half in the dome of the side chapel. You remember what I told you, what white and gold signifies? Heaven. He is half in heaven, right? He's just just above the waist, right? Is already in heaven. The lower part is still on earth. He's in the moment of death, and he's in the pious moment of prayer, having his hands folded, universal sign of piety. So he's praying, he is thinking of, and he doesn't even wear his tiara. He is not wearing his papal crown. So he has left that behind. He's facing his judge as man, and he's praying about his about the meaning of his life. So it reminds us of our own moment of death. And so this is a beautiful Baroque scene, because what happens here is you'd have to imagine an imaginary curtain, right, covering this whole side chapel, covering this whole situation. And that curtain is the curtain that we have that separates us from God. We live our life, and there's a big curtain, as if we were on a stage, and behind us is a curtain, right? If you've ever been to a theater, you know that when the actors, when they're done playing, the curtain closes, and sometimes they come out and they bow in front of the audience. But so the curtain is behind us. We're looking around. We don't know what's going on. We're on this stage in this world. We're on the stage. We're doing all of these things that people tell us to do, and we're like, well, but that's not the guy who's writing the story of my life. That's not the guy who's directing my life. No, who is directing my life? And we never really get to meet the guy who directs our life. In the moment of death, we for the first time get to meet the screenwriter. We get to meet the guy that wrote our life, that invented us, as one of the personas in his great story, right? In his great glorious story, in his great a story that is sometimes a tragedy, sometimes a drama, sometimes a comedy. And so we get to meet that guy. And this is the moment of the curtain fall. And this is exactly what happens here. The curtain fell. So Bernini doesn't put the curtain up, and he obviously cannot put it midair either. So he puts it down. It's in marble, so it's pretty heavy. It sank down, right? And so you see Alexander kneeling in the moment of his death before the curtain fall. And the curtain is on the ground, right? And is kind of couched between these four virtues. right? So in the middle of it, and I think we have a closer shot, you can see that the curtain happens to also cover death, right? Right above the door, you have a skeleton with an hourglass. And it's a beautiful reminder that the face of death is covered. We do not know when death will reveal itself to us, but we do know that it will come, the hourglass. We are aware of time. We are aware that our time is running out. So, and Alexander VII was aware that his time was running out. So our best way of doing is get on our knees and talk to the screenwriter of our life, because that's the guy who we will face when the curtain falls. Now we have the four virtues, and I want to talk about two of them, the front ones, really briefly. The one on the left is charity, and charity is very easy to recognize. Charity is oftentimes portrayed as a mother holding her child, right? The ultimate sign of charity, of self-sacrifice. So that's on the left. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Perfect. So, and it's a pretty chubby child. So, a very, very good, very charitable mother. And then on the other side, we have the allegory. No, go back, please. The allegory of faith. And so that is, yep, nope, that one's perfect. The next one, sorry. The one after, and one after. Perfect. Thank you. On the right, we see faith. Faith is embracing the Son of Truth, right? So she has the truth. She has the symbol of God, Son, the Son of Truth, in her by her chest, in her heart, right? So truth, the faith is the truth. But there is a very curious and again somewhat playful Baroque moment here that we have that Bernini included. And that is when we look at the foot of faith, because faith is standing on a globe, and the globe being, right, the faith being spread globally is a very important theme. We saw in the beginning the Trinity blessing the whole world, right? But now there is a thorn that comes out of one of the countries on that globe, poking faith in the big toe. And that country is England. And that thorn is the event, or the I guess the historical tragedy of the Anglican Church splitting with the Catholic Church, being a thorn in the foot of faith. I always love that. It's such a great little playful moment, right? So the whole world, and then you have that kind of poking the faith in her big toe. So again, many of these monuments have details of this nature, but I just wanted to point it out. But in general, I think what we can take away from this is a beautiful memento mori. It shows the piety of the Pope. It shows the piety of Bernini as well, and it reminds us ourselves that this world is not all that there is, and this is something that is a hopeful message. Sometimes it's also a sad message, because it means that our earthly life will end, but it is also a hopeful message because we will get to meet the screenwriter of our life. And that should be a moment of glory.